the message after last weekend, especially after Friday?
Obviously we weren't happy with our performance on Friday, and we delivered a solid message to the guys on Saturday morning, and they responded. It wasn't a perfect game on Saturday, but we got back, headed in the right direction, and if we can come out on Friday and have another solid game, we'll be rolling the right way.
Is there a way to see those things coming? The Fridays coming, like you had one against Ohio State, you had this one.
It's tough. You never know, especially with these kids and what they're going through every day in classes. Ups and downs, and we've had some sickness and some injuries. That's not an excuse, but that's real life, and so it's tough to see it coming. You don't go out thinking you're not going to have your best game every night. We try to, and it doesn't work that way. We know that it's hockey, so got to be a resilient group, and I think hopefully this Friday will show some of that.
Is there an advantage to maybe losing a game like that at this stage of the season, where all of a sudden they realize, hey, we got to be on our P's or Q's, or anybody can beat us?
100%, especially when you're playing a team like Michigan State. They're one of the top teams in the country, and you go in there and you get your cage rattled like that. I think it, picks up our guys' senses a little bit as to what we're looking at, and I think they see the road ahead, and we got to get going and got to get working. Yep.
Sometimes coaches talk about having to go to your B game when you don't have your best. How do you make that determination? And is that hard as a coach or a player to make that switch?
It's a little bit of both, I would think. Coaches actually throughout the course of the game probably see that you don't exactly have your A game, and you might make a few adjustments here or there to try to combat that. But a lot of it's internally with the players. If they're not having their A game, they got to try to figure out a way to make an impact and be positive. Force for our team, whether that's chipping pucks in or making good passes or being a good teammate on the bench. All that stuff goes into your B game, and a lot of our guys have a pretty good backup plan.
So when you see a couple of inconsistent weekends like this, is that mind and your that trigger go a little quicker? Or?
Yeah, you don't want to see any inconsistencies throughout the year, but we've had a couple ups and downs the last few weekends, and we've talked about it. We've talked about it with our group, and we know where we're at in the end of the season. There's not much time for ups and downs anymore. We got to be a pretty solid, machine moving through, and we've talked about that this week, and hopefully, we'll minimize those coming up. Those stinkers coming up. When you get to 4 goals, you guys are 14-0. On the other side of that, you're 5, 6, and 3. When you don't score 4, is it them getting used to playing in tighter games? Is that something, especially down the stretch here, you have to emphasize? Absolutely. Message said I didn't know that. We should probably just get to 4, and that'll be a good way to do things. But no, obviously, you want to get to 3 or 4. That's kind of the goal. You usually end up coming out on the winning side of things if you do. But every night it's not going to be that, and especially going down the stretch here in the playoffs, and games are getting tighter. People know who we are. They know who our key guys are. They know what we like to do. They know how we play because we've been playing all year, and it's going to be, it's just going to be tighter down the stretch. It goes that way every year. It's hockey. How much emphasis were face-offs this weekend? Big time. That's a tough thing. That face-offs are a thing that show how ready you are for a game. And on, Friday night, our face-offs weren't up to where they needed to be, and it kind of shows where your compete level is at. Saturday night was much better. We didn't have a whole lot of more success on the draws, but we competed and we got better. So I think that's a good sign of things to come. And we got some freshmen and some younger guys in there taking draws, which is tough. So it's an area we got to get better for sure.
Is there anything about taking draws on the power play that you do differently, or you want to coach your team to do differently? They've got the extra guy out there. Yeah, you usually, the way you align your guys up on a power play face-off is, you usually bring a D down a little bit more, so that if the puck isn't a 50-50 battle, you can get. They got 4 guys in there, we're going to try to get 5. They got 3 guys in there, we're going to have 4 surrounding it. So you kind of cater your face-offs a little bit to that so you can jump on the puck quicker. But other than that, it's just a compete thing. You jump into a rivalry series this weekend after coming off a little bit of a tougher one. Is that a good thing to have right now? Yeah, why not? Let's get going. Like you said, we know where we're at. We know we got to come out and have a big game on Friday, and who better to do it against than one of our biggest rivals and get the guys going. So I think they'll be ready to go. A lot of illness going through the team. Do you think you're almost all the way through it, or?
I don't know. I'm coaches and everybody, kind of battling with it. But like we said, it's not an excuse because everybody's going through it. We talked to Michigan State. You talk to some guys at Nodak. You talk to some guys at Wisconsin. Like everybody's going through it. So we got to kind of put that in the rearview mirror and hopefully get through that. But yes, to answer your question, I'm hoping that it's close to done.
Injuries short term, you think so far?
Yeah. Nothing major. Short. Mostly short term, I would say. For our guys that are on the shelf right now.
one guy that really stood out this weekend, this last weekend was Jimmy. What do you feel? How do you feel his play took off?
Well, we're going to need Jimmy to do what Jimmy does as we go down the stretch, and he's doing it right now. He's playing a simple game. He's playing smart. He's being a leader. He's being great on the bench. He's being great in the room, and he's taking a step in that area. And as a result, his game is elevated as well, and that's what we need. So we're going to need him down the stretch. Clearly, you guys know he's a big part of our offense, and it's a good sign to see that he's starting to score right now, and hopefully it continues.
With the Hockey Day alumni game, did you give Paul any feedback for dropping that one, or?
Well, you know what, Paul hasn't talked to me much about the alumni game. I'm kind of mad because I wanted to try to play in it, you know. But so I'm kind of giving Paul the cold shoulder, even though it's not his fault we were out of town. But yeah, I was giving Jordan Leopold more grief this morning because I heard he had an off game. So according to Paulie, so we were giving it to him. But he's a Hobie Baker winner, so you can take a shot when you get one.
Thanks,
Good. Thanks, guys.